Hello, beardlings. Welcome to another College of Dwarfology. We have had a hectic past couple of weeks. Hopefully all ears are doing good. May they do well going into the future. For this chapter, we're going to beat around the bush a little bit. We don't want to spoil some of the beardlings who are so young they have no hair on their chin yet. This is a water bottle. It's nice and blue. It's tall. Some like it with a straw. There's a problem. This straw allows me to drink water. If I were to beat into the side of the straw, all the things in the water could come out. I think hopefully we're all on the same page. There are a few strategies for dealing with straws, as evil and as vile as they are, but we all love straws. We love getting things off of straws because straws routinely have candy floss in them or on them. The straws are awesome that way. But if the straw is hollow, we have a lot worse things to deal with than an excess of candy floss. But if a straw is not hollow, we have an extraordinarily large amount of candy floss to deal with. And we all love our candy floss. So, there are a couple strategies when dealing with straws, particularly whether or not they are hollow. I should stop saying what I'm going to do. Firstly, there is a strategy that I've seen a bit on the internet, and I admit I myself followed it. But you don't need to, because it doesn't really do much. Usually, a strategy one would perform to see if a straw was hollow or not would be to, on the back side, admittedly not the front side like I've done here, would be to smooth the wall and carve a fortification. A fortification that is carved, as we've discussed previously in other, we'll say, exploits, cannot be traversed. However, you can see through it, and that is what I've done here. I smoothed the corner and I carved a fortification. The fortification allowed me to see inside one square, and I can see that if this were to be a fantastic straw made of candy floss, it would not be hollow, which means I could mine the whole thing out and get all the candy floss I wanted. Why? Because of this one square. The hollow variant of certain straws requires at every Z level at least, or I should not even at least, only requires a 2x2 hollowness to it. You're not going to find any more, and it's not going to be any less. It is going to be a 2x2 amount if there is a hollow opening inside your straws. Because I revealed the one square here, it's not hollow. This strategy is wrong. Because if this was hollow, yes, anything that was in it probably could not get to me. My base is relatively safe in that the dwarves are safe. But by looking in and peeking inside Pandora's box inside our straw, we've caused our frames to drop significantly. And usually by the time you're able to see whether or not a straw is hollow, you don't have many frames left to be dealing with. I'm telling you, that is too much effort for not enough reward. You're doing too much. You can see if your straw is hollow and has bland old water in it or something worse, honk honk. Or if it is nothing but sweet, delicious candy floss. All you have to do is smooth. Just smooth. Carefully, mind you, but just smooth. If a straw is not hollow, the wall will naturally define a corner when smoothed, if there is at least two together. If you do only one, this will not work. If you do only one, it'll look like a pillar just like any other 1x1 pillar. There is no variation between a pillar that does or does not have something behind it. I probably should have ordered that dwarf a lot sooner. Here he comes. It'll look like just a pillar when smooth. So, not useful. If you do 3 or more, as we can see here, not useful. Because the ends are what curve. If you have something directly to the side of it, it'll naturally try to connect to that. However, if there is something behind it making it not hollow, you will see 2 corner points that will curve in. No risk of actually seeing what's behind the stone, but you know whether or not it's hollow just by doing that. If it is hollow, you will see 2 hard endpoints or pillars, just as if you'd only done 1. And this does update as you go along. I'm gonna dig behind those purposefully. This does update as you go along. See how that updated to a pillar? That's all you're needing to do. That is all you are needing to do to see if your straws are hollow or not hollow. And because I made this mistake in a previous video where something was actually slightly dependent upon DF hack, I've done this exact same experiment in regular Dwarf Fortress, vanilla Dwarf Fortress. It still stands. If there is nothing behind it, it looks like pillars. If there is something behind it, you get the weird fence graphic that curves in so that you know whether or not you are safe to dig. Now, this is fantastic already, right? We're done. No. Last part of today's class is going to be explained to you some logic that applied during World War II. It applies to cryptography. It applies to a lot of things. And it's the fruit of a fallen tree mentality. It is, if something is false, the whole premise, the whole thing is false. Where should you do this? If you are dealing with somewhere you happen to see some sweet candy floss, there is a chance, I'm just gonna draw this, I'm not actually waiting for them to mine it, that if you slowly go around the edge, what you will find is something that is fiddly. Or what I call it. It's a super scientific term I use. I don't know where I got it from. Where what would be on the inside of what I've designated for mining here is the actual candy floss. As I said before, the hollow bit can only be 2x2. It can only be 2x2. So if I were to dig all of this out around the candy floss, and this is what I was revealed with, set this marker. That would be free for mining, that would be free for mining, and that would be free for mining already. Without us having to do anything, not even smoothing. That is all free. If I were to try to apply what I did earlier, I would smooth these 2. I can't do that until it's been dug. I would smooth these 2. Why would I smooth these 2? Because I want this one right here to work in the middle. This is just one that's naturally on a corner. It's not going to work right. It just isn't. But if this one also curves in, it means that there is something solid here. If we know that this is solid, that means there's no 2x2 squares. For as little as 2 smooths, we can purge, we can verify that the entire 3x3 thing is not hollow. If we had a 4x4 in it, oh, that is too wide. Wait, no, it wasn't. It was too small. If we had a 4x4 in it, then we are dealing with our usual candy floss amount. Well, actually, no, we already knew that wasn't big. That should have been a 5x5. My bad. If we have 2x2, you do the 2 in the middle. You try to get to the 2 in the middle. Because if you can prove that what's in the middle is not hollow, then you know you're good. This might not be completely 100% because that could be a wall and this could be it. Oh wait, no, it can't because that's a wall. You get what I'm saying? Like once this is done, this is all a wall. This essentially all turns into what I called earlier fiddly, because you know what you have already. You know this can't be it. You know all of this is good. If you know this is good, and this is good, that can't be it. If you're doing this as a 5x5, I think I have to go 2 wider. Oh. I actually be doing this one wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here we go. If you were doing this as a 5x5, like somehow one that's chunky, you're not likely to see too many that are that solid, that big, without there being like a weird line sticking into it. If you have a line sticking into it, remove whatever you can to see as round a thing as possible. Don't let the little bit sticking out confuse you. But if somehow you end up with this going on, if you grab the ones in the middle, I think that'll do. Yep. If you grab the ones in the middle and the ones in the middle point in, what do you have? You know that's good, you know that's good, you know that's good, you know that's good. You don't have any, there's nowhere it could be. This similar thing is able to keep going all the way up to 6x6 and beyond. It just takes a lot more work and a lot more logic, but all you need to be doing is mining and smoothing. That's it. I'm gonna screw this up again. Don't dig. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I was right. If you were larger, then again, try to go for the middle, because if you can prove that the middle is good by smoothing, because remember, just by really this whole outer perimeter we know is good. By smoothing here, we are verifying that this is good. What have we got? We don't have a solid 4x4. You get what I'm saying? Like, you can have a massive deposit and really it takes 8 smooths to disprove the entire block and get all of that candyfloss goodness. Now, second step of this, where do you do this? As low as possible. Go as low as possible. Why? Because a negative on hollowness is way more powerful than a positive on hollowness. If I go all the way down, right above magma, and I'm like, man, this straw is not hollow, and I'm able to mine out this entire level, and I'm like, boom, this is mine. What does that mean? Every Z level above it is automatically clear because a straw goes from bottom to top. If it's not hollow halfway up, everything remaining is good to go. You're fine, you're fantastic. Get as low as possible and slowly smooth. Remember, don't bring the wall to the corners because that defeats the purpose. The corners will have the corner smooth blocks. That doesn't help anybody. Only smooth inside the middle, because the more in the middle you're able to smooth, the more you disprove. If I do this, again, I've disproven this square, this square, this square, and this square. I'm golden. If I do it here, and only there, all I've disproven is this. All I've disproven is that one. But that still leaves, unfortunately, this entire corner over here that could have been. Actually, I've gotten this off by a dimension again. That's not the wall, but whatever. If it was 1 square larger, that would have worked. You get my point. Always disprove the middle, because what you're trying to do is essentially, virtually, logically create little tendrils. You're trying to create fiddly bits because you want to make sure that there is no safe haven for a 2x2 hollowness inside your straw. So that's all you need. And smoothing beautifully does it. Don't carve the fortifications. If you're wrong, you've saved the dwarves but cost the base. It's a Pyrrhic victory. What good does it do you? Go as low as you can, go all the way around it first, smooth, or no, before you smooth, mine everything that's sticking out. You want to get it to a smooth square. If you can see opposite sides of one, mine it at any point. If you have a thing sticking out and it's too wide before it gets big, it's like that or something like that, you know it can't be here or here. because the hollowness has to be in the wall. The blue area is what I've already dug out. You get what I'm saying? Like, if this is the wall that you see, why are we not digging? If the brown is the wall we see, then there's no hollow area. Dig it. If what you end up with, hold on. We'll go with this. And again, this is massive. You're not gonna see a solid chunk like this. It's not gonna happen. But if you end up with this, have I still not drawn a single point big enough? I still haven't drawn a single point big enough. Shit. Hold on, that one's on me. Poor planning. Poor planning on my part. If you end up with something like this, then what do you know? This looks massive and ungainly. However, you can only have a 2x2 area. Is there a 2x2 square here? Here, 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 or here? No. Because there's not a 2x2 square there, you can safely dig straight across and get access to all of this. Because this is not a 2x2 square, you want to square it off. You can safely take all of that out. The square you are left with is this right here. This is what you first want to do. Take off all the side things, get it to a square, and then smooth the middle of those squares to see if you can prove logically that what is inside is not hollow. Because while this straw has life-giving water in it, that straw won't. If you have found today's video educational or entertaining, please consider giving it a thumbs up. If you find me at all entertaining and or would like to give me some credit for trying to do this entire video with a straw metaphor, subscribe to the channel. I apologize for the delays in videos, but let's face it, a bunch of shit's happening right now. Everyone, I'll catch you guys next time.